It's that it was originally scheduled to be held on February the 27th, but due to weather-related reasons, it was kicked back 7 days. So this is actually our February 27th meeting, just being held a little bit late. With that, I'd like to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. With that, I'd like to have a roll call.
Quisenberry.
Here.
Hayden.
Here.
George.
Here.
Green. Here. Nivell. Here. Randazzo.
Here. Number 4, approval of agenda. We have an agenda in front of us. It seems to have 13 items, including the most important one, number 14. And if anyone likes to...
I make a motion to approve the agenda for Monday, March 6, 2023.
Moved and supported. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. On to approval of council minutes. This village council held a meeting on January the 23rd, and the minutes of that meeting is in our packets. And I've had a chance to look at them, and they seem to reflect how the meeting went. So if someone likes to...
Make a motion to approve our regular meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2023.
Support. Moved and supported. Those in favor say aye.
No, I got something on
Discussion.
Oh.
I had contacted the office via email. Under motion 8, letter E, President Quisenberry, we reviewed the committees. There was a volunteer to take on the streets, but after that was requested and given, it was then taken back. My understanding is there were some minutes that there was a couple different forms of the meetings going on, and that never made it back into the ones that we have right now.
So are the minutes incorrect, or do we
For
just
this,
need to
for
address
that section,
Say again.
for that section, for E.
Okay. Is that being noted down?
It's already been fixed. We're waiting on the computer for the approval.
Well, then we can't approve this, I guess.
Well, the only thing that he's requesting is that his name is put in saying that he volunteered for the streets and then it was rejected. That's the only thing that's different.
Well, it's the only thing, but it's a thing.
So we can either, or we can approve.
Wait, why don't we make an amendment to it?
Yep.
And then approve the amendment?
Yep.
If you heard what Tony mentioned, we can have another motion to approve these minutes as amended with that change being made.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to amend the regular meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2023. Whereas the volunteer was requested to take on streets committee, but that was rejected by myself, trustee Randazzo.
You withdrew it.
I didn't withdraw.
No. A volunteer was Randazzo.
Requested.
Requested.
That was rejected?
Yep.
Or it just wasn't approved?
It just wasn't approved.
It wasn't approved.
We decided on
The
the next,
appointment was postponed.
the next,
Okay.
when you about paragraph, it says, you know, that you're going to hold those up for
Okay.
our new council person, just to see, you know, so.
And we've got a couple of other unfinished committee positions as well, so probably that'll be on the list of things to address, and we can do them all at the same time. Because the sewer is a new committee and some other things. So we'll just continue to keep it on hold, at least if that's what the answer is everybody's looking for.
Or at least bring it up at the next meeting.
Well, except this is just a motion to approve, to
Yes,
amend
it
the
is.
approval minutes, so we shouldn't get a discussion about what we're doing.
No, that's fine.
Okay, trustee Randazzo made a amendment change, and I would like a motion on the approve the minutes as amended by trustee Randazzo.
I will change my motion to approve the change.
Did anyone support it?
Yes, I supported the initial
I was
motion.
first one, before we discuss it.
I support the amended motion to approve
Okay.
Tony's.
And Tony's changes have been made to the agenda minutes, and if we would like, no more discussion, we can vote on it. Anybody, I mean, all of them?
Are we
You want-
doing the workshop minutes yet, or?
No, that's coming up next. This is just the regular meeting minutes. Moved and supported, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? These are now the new minutes. Now we move on to the village workshop minutes. The Ortonville Village Council held a workshop on February the 9th. Minutes of that meeting were taken. Because it's a workshop, there were no action items, there were no motions, and there was nothing voted upon. And we just have notes to use for recall if we should ever need to.
I make a motion to approve the workshop meeting minutes of February 9, 2023.
Second.
And Melanie, we can just still discuss it if you want.
Yeah, no, you said it. I had sent Amber some corrections to it, so I do not know. Did you do those and they're to come? Okay, so
There
those.
isn't, that's what you have in the packet.
Oh, the pickleball wasn't, because it was supposed to be a Brandon Town CDBG funds. Do I have the wrong ones?
Well, they did make new, when Amber sent out the original packet for the meeting that we were going to have last week, once we adjourned it, she sent out another packet that said there had been several things updated in the newer packet.
Yep.
Yes.
Are we talking about workshop minutes?
That's fine, I'm gonna leave it. I just, never mind.
Okay, moved and supported, and again, they're just workshop minutes for our record only. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, those are now approved. Acceptance items is a finance report for the month of January, which we received copy. Item D is revenue and expenditures for January. Is there a motion to accept these,
Motion
or we
to
just
accept
accept?
those two items.
Support.
Okay, are the acceptance items going to be accepted, yea or nay? All in favor, say aye. Aye, yea, both the same. It's tomato. We can discuss vegetables later. All good with that. Now we move on to disbursements. That's item 7. That's the money that the village takes in via tax revenues and then spends. Those are disbursements ending on February the 15th.
I make a motion to approve our disbursements of $19,636.86 for the period ending February 15, 2023.
Moved and supported. Is there any discussion on this? If not, roll call vote, please.
Roll call. Hayden.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Nivell.
Yes.
Randazzo.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Moving on to 8, public comments. This is for anybody who has taken the time of their day to attend this meeting, and they are, of course, allowed to address the board. If you would like to, all I ask is that you give us your name.
Don Hubble.
Okay, and we'll just make a note that you were here.
I'd like to make a comment on the proposed sidewalk project on Oak Road.
Yes, sir.
I think it'd be a very good thing for the community. I think it'd be good. Well, we live in a subdivision on Oak Road, and it'd be very nice for us. We had to walk out 8/10 of a mile to get to a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I think it would be very good for us and the community.
Well, I think the village council is very, very fortunate that tonight we have 3 of who I will call the top 3 walkers in this village that happen to be. The 3 of you certainly walk a lot of miles on the sidewalks, and your comments mean a lot.
So that's the sidewalk.
Thank you.
Before you sit down, can you spell your last name for me, please?
NOBLE.
Do you think anybody has new 3B? That's my only question. Any walkers? No, you guys.
Nobody knows their names, they just call
It's
them
okay.
walkers.
They know your dogs too, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Worse.
You certainly cover all of the village, so probably know some things about it I don't.
Well, Matt, I would like to commend DPW for doing such a great job on roads and the sidewalks.
Boy, we can't thank them enough. Seems to be a reoccurring message that we get to continue to send them, but it's a nice message, and it's one of the ones that, because it's a positive one, we're all proud. Okay, anybody else want to talk to the village council? Okay, going three
I
times.
was just gonna say the DPW.
Thanks again. We just love hearing that. That takes care of public comments. On to a consent agenda, which is, looks to be 7 or 8 items. Minutes from DDA, a couple of them, planning commission, invoice from an attorney, special permits for baseball, special permits for a tournament, special event for movie night, and special event for September Fest. Those are in the consent agenda. If someone wants to approve it, we can approve it and then discuss it, or at least motion it and then discuss it.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Does anyone want to discuss it further than what we've seen in our packets? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, items from trustees. We'll just start on the right with
Again, I was going to mention DPW as well. Keeping up with that snow was incredible. I saw them out all weekend, and Bob a couple of times. They did great. We have a new superintendent for the schools. Carly Stone is going to be the superintendent. I went to the BGYA breakfast. That was really a nice event for those that didn't attend. They really know how to do everything a class act, and it's such a great association. And let's see what else. Oh, and we had the opportunity to meet Lisa McLean. It was at a meet and greet, and they have us on their radar to do a future, or invite us to a future town hall that will include the Northern Territories, the Ortonville, Holly, whatnot. So that'll be coming up. And that's it.
Northern Territories. That's good for it.
Us, the ones that are forgotten, that the rules.
Got it. Mr. Randazzo.
Nothing much to report with Parks and Rec. Just real briefly, Ryan, myself, and Faye had a small gathering today because we're looking to do the funding for the 175th. And we have a gathering up there meeting Wednesday. I've got the time. 9:30 at the office. The other thing, I'd also like to commend the DPW and also to the Brandon Fire Department, the Oakland County Sheriff, everybody that was involved in that sad situation that happened over the weekend. So everybody, thanks for the good job that they did keeping us safe.
Okay, thanks, Tony. And yeah, at this time of year, for at least as far as it relates to Parks and Rec Commission, it's probably they're slow and kind of year. Things will start to ramp up, I'm sure. You have a little more to report on that. Yeah, I'm sure. Mr. Hayden.
Yeah, I see from some of the items in the packet that it is approaching time. I need to get an IT committee meeting going here soon. Looking forward to that. I also wanted to add my commendation to the DPW crew for the great job that they did in doing this. And on top of that, I also want to make you feel the citizens, these guys work very hard. And it takes them a long time to get all those streets and all the sidewalks cleared, especially with that ice, it was really challenging because we couldn't get that out. So just as a appeal to residents here, it is each resident's responsibility to take care of the sidewalk in their house. And I think it's great that we have the DPW do that service, but if you are able to help them out some after the snowplow, we really appreciate it if you can go out there and try to do your own walkway in front of your house. That's for the safety of our residents. I always do that myself. So, other than that, I don't have any other comments.
Okay, great. Pat?
Yeah, regarding Historical Society, we've been meeting informally with the main topic being the 175th, as far as preparation, prioritizing, things like that. And as far as what we're doing with the mill, there's been some reorganization and staging, make it pop a little bit better. We're working on some enhanced signage for the Historical Society, so along that same vein. And that's been going good. Our next formal meeting is in April. So these have been informal sessions, and then in April, for the normal schedule, which is the second Tuesday of the month. So
Second Tuesday is your meeting time?
Yes, the formal, yeah, and the meeting times are at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, and the meeting locations are
At the old mill.
at the old mill, 6 o'clock on the
Second Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Does everybody already know that, or should that be like something we get reminded of? 'Cause I seem to forget about it.
It's
Yeah,
it's,
there's not on that calendar we put out, so
Yeah.
that would be nice.
I will say this, and it's sort of a contested contest as to who gets less people in our meetings. Is it yours?
Well, we can split honors in that regard. How about this though, Pat? The Historical Society has always been one of my favorite
Me too.
activities and committees that this village council could even be part of. But this year especially, given the main events that are coming up. So I think maybe in years past, if you didn't get a lot of people, you might see a big uptick in that regard.
Yeah.
So at least I'm hoping that's the case, and I'd probably be one of them as well. So see you at the next meeting.
And then on a final note regarding Bob, I talked to Bob briefly about also the snow conditions and ice conditions. He mentioned the ice storm that we had, that was the toughest he'd seen in his college years. He said he broke 3 shovels. So it was a doozer. That's it.
Are we going to see shovels on the next run? Okay.
Check it out. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thanks, Mr. George. On to Ms. Kay.
We've met twice now, 3 times actually, for the 175th committee, and somehow I got put on the chair of the events for the day up. So we're working on that. We're narrowing down different things that we're going to do on the day. And there's some things that are going to be done throughout the year. Lots of overlapping with the GTA and the businesses and the schools and the newspapers and everything else. But there's lots of behind-the-scenes things going on right now. And if you're interested, if anybody's interested, we always are going to need more people a day out especially. But more to come on that. I also attended the BGYA, and it was just what Melanie said, is always very nice and well received. And I love the speakers this year. They just, the coaches from high school, and they just tell the commitment that they have for the kids and for the community and the schools. It was just really nice. And the last thing, if we could, Brian, just tell the guys this really has been a, singing their praises with DPW, because they really, without them, we have a mess up here. They just constantly come through and work hard and get it done. And sometimes it may look like a thankless job, but if you just tell them, the community, us, all of us are behind them 100%. We really appreciate all of it. That's all. Thank you.
Next thing.
Okay, great. Yeah, if anybody wants to rename Bob the Invisible Man, they would be wrong in doing so. it 7-8 times a day, minimum.
7-8 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melanie, are we going up or down here?
I'm turning
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
All right, concludes items from trustees. Just so you know, at the end of the meeting, I'll just go back around and see if anybody else has something they'd like to add, so you made the note.
Want to add anything now?
Do I want to add anything now? Especially, I could do a little stand-up routine, but A, nobody would laugh and it would take up too much time. So, good with that. We're going to move to unfinished business. Easy to say here, it's in our packet, we've beaten this thing a couple times, it's the sidewalk project, it's what we were just spoken to by one of our residents. I myself have talked to several people in the last week or so, and I haven't heard anybody that hasn't been doing cartwheels over the idea that that was the decision. Sometimes makes us wonder why some of those other ones were even considered when you think about the benefits that this one will offer for the community, the money we have, and there's also from road engineering. I think they've been kind of up to speed all the way along. That we were going to vote on it today and have a head start or a jump start, I should say, on having this project, to get done. That being said, there's also a letter in here from the village manager indicating his support of this project. So I would like to see us move on this matter as quickly as possible. Does anybody like to make a motion to that?
Make a motion. To accept the contracts and engineering services for village of Richards and to execute all related documents and processes.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Is there any further discussion that would be to be added to the further discussions that we've had on previous discussions about this?
I would like to ask Ron, when you were speaking in general terms before, Don, do you have any specific one that you support? I don't know the answer.
I like all of them. I think it's nice to have, going from Church Street all the way, well, it'd be nice to see it going over to Peaky's. Frankly, I'd like to see it from our subdivision all the way to Peaky's. I don't know if that's possible, but, the more the better. I just, the way I look at it is, where the demographics of this community is aging. And eventually, younger people are gonna come in. You wanna keep the town, you wanna attract them. So, they're gonna come, I mean, look at the area. Look at Oxford, they got that Highland Trail. They built that big bridge right over M24, a busy highway, for that purpose. And it gets used, it gets used a lot. Look at Lake Orion. They built all these trails and they appreciate it, and they all to connect to the Paint Creek Trail. Clarkson doing the same thing. Goodrich, Alice Township, they got the ones that they're taking all the way to Grand Lake. We need to do something too.
We would certainly be wise to plan with those types of long-term
Right.
goals.
Right, exactly.
We're kind of burning up. We're on the sunset side of a grant that we gotta approve today. And what the big selling feature of this was is because it was Narren Road and it was a way to get from town to Beekys and that plaza without, having to go on the shoulder of the road on Oakwood. So it's a start, and we would all agree in this room and at this table that there's a lot more needs to be done.
Sure, right. And I agree, it's a start, we have to start somewhere, and I think that would be a good thing. I mean, because a lot of times we'll walk, we'll take that little safety path along Cedar Street and walk, like you said, along to the yards, up Oak Road. It's not nice, but,
Right.
better than that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thanks again. If there aren't any other,
I have a question. Kate, in your motion, which option are we asking them to follow up or pursue?
Well, I just read the motion, the way it was written.
Right.
From the Narren Park Drive to
Yeah.
Cedar.
Yeah.
Do you want to add that?
I can, from Narren Park right away to Cedar Street, 8
Okay, that clarifies it even further, and is there still support for that?
Support our.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Further discussion?
Well, Kay made an amendment, or she made a clarification on her motion, so we're going to support it. We
Okay.
can still continue discussion before we hold the vote on it, but
That's fine.
we're good with the motion the way Kay read it.
Yes.
I think we all knew what project we were talking about based on our workshop and based on the information passed out by Ryan. So it just is further clarification that it's always better to have too much than not enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a discussion point though.
Sure.
If I can. When I look on the scope of services, on item number 4, I think one of the things that worries me is, and it's underlined, it appears that every property along this route will need to grant an easement. We know how easements can be. And I think that's a red herring that's sitting up there. So the numbers we have quoted now, I'm sure do not include any form of additional money spent on easements. And that makes me nervous. I didn't put the underline in there.
To add that the contract as presented does not. There is a clause that Row can help with easement procurement at an additional cost.
That question is, would the grant money help cover some of those easement costs?
Can I defer to Paul O'Meara for Row?
Well, I'm Paul O'Meara from Row. Appreciate the chance to be in front of you tonight. Unfortunately, the grant is only devoted to the construction costs. So any pre-planning work needs to be paid for by the village.
And will the section we find use the full amount of the grant, or are we coming short of it?
You will be short. That's why we tried some different options. We could spend most of the grant, and this one is coming up short. But apparently, it's the one that community is most in favor of.
And then in regards to the easements, how many are we talking about on this trip?
I think it's 7 different properties.
7.
Yeah. And it's hard to predict how people react.
Okay. And we're still discussing. So that's my concern about the easements. The other thing, just for my own personal view, when I drive there, Oakwood, a lot. I know we got to spend the money, but I still think there's value going east rather than west. You know, taking this trail out east, or Don's area, than it is going west. I don't know how are we going to do that? I mean, what do you envision on this being? Is it a sidewalk? Is that what it's going to be? A sidewalk?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a sidewalk. How far away from the road do you envision the sidewalk?
I was envisioning, originally there were plans drawn up to try to keep it within the right of way. But to do that, you'd have to mess up the ditch and the way the road drains out of the road commission would tolerate that. So in order to, it's basically just moving it back about another 5 feet to get it on top of the hill, if you will, get it out of the ditch.
Okay, be on the other side of the ditch.
Right.
Most people would see this as a loss.
Yeah,
I don't want it, in front of my house or something. I would think they would want a sidewalk.
I don't know if it was a sidewalk.
I remember when they put the sidewalk in again, finally on the south side of Mill Street, and my neighbors afterwards came and he says, they weren't sure they wanted it, but afterwards they said they were really glad that's done. I think that's probably going to be the reaction.
Okay, I'd like to have a roll call vote on this, please.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. All right. Roll call. George.
No.
Green.
Yes.
Hayden.
No.
Randazzo.
Yes.
Nivell.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes, the motion passes 3-2. On to item 12. 4 to 2, yeah. 6 people. It's the majority. Either way, we counted them.
We'll get rolling on that right away, because the time is of the essence. So,
Okay.
thank you.
On to item B is appointment of village council pro tem. The seat is currently filled by Larry Hayden, and by village requirements, it's to the village council to pick another one, given this is a new term for this council. And is there a motion for a trustee to become president pro tem of the council?
I'd like to make a motion to have,
Is it you or?
Can't be Bob Oxford.
Yeah.
Melanie Nivelt.
Oh my God, you're trying to say.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I,
Sorry.
I support that, the motion for that person.
Yes.
Her. I'm sorry.
But formality, we'll use full names here, and I'll support the motion to nominate Melanie Nivelt for that position. So it's been moved and supported. Roll call vote on this one also.
Hayden,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Green. Yes. Nigel.
Am I allowed to?
Yes.
Okay,
You
yes.
You
Okay.
have to vote for this.
Yes.
Vote for yourself.
Fran, yes.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. And unless you didn't vote for yourself in the voting booth, in town.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, you're allowed to do that.
I want to make sure, Amber, did you get the full motion? I don't want you to kind of stop midstream. I want to make sure.
Put her name in there first.
Yeah, you can.
Melanie Nigel will be,
We can fill in the
motion
blank.
for, appointment of village council pro tem.
And that's a short version without all.
Yes.
Okay. On to new business, appointment to DDA boards. Matt from the DDA is here. The DDA selects people to hold different positions within their organization, and they do so. Hey, thank you for coming.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don. And they do so on a regular basis, but every time they do make any changes in the DDA's board, they ask that the village council, or it requires that the village council approve those changes. And we have that in our packet of some of the changes. Just so everybody's aware, the DDA board, like our board, is short seats, but they still are able to manage and function and vote accordingly with the number of people that they do have. So if anybody's aware of who might want to also join that fabulous group, please get with Matt, and we can maybe make that happen too. But for the time being, this is what we have, and Matt's here to probably reiterate what I just said.
Exactly. The DDA board appreciates the appointment of board members to the Downtown Development Authority. It's done on an annual basis. In your packet, you have the current nominees, Kim Hill and Leanne Claxton, who we've requested reappointment. And then, of course, I believe you also have in your packet a list of our classes. And to Ken's point about the number on the board, we are at the statutory requirement for our board. The Public Act does allow for a minimum of 8 plus the village CEO to 12 plus the village CEO. So we do have some optional open seats. But we appreciate your consideration and ask that you reappoint Kim and Leanne to the board.
Okay, to make a motion that Kim Hill and Leanne Claxton be recommended to the village CEO by the Ortonville DDA Board of Directors in accordance with the DDA bylaws to be reappointed as the class of 2027, serving a 4-year term to end at the DDA annual meeting, January 2027.
Second.
Okay, is there further discussion on the board members of the DDA?
Well, shouldn't we be approving these appointments?
That's what we just did. That was-
No, the stated motion says recommend to the village CEO.
That's,
He's recommending to me, and we're voting on it. We're voting on it because the village council has jurisdiction over the DDA, so.
I stole it directly from the DDA packet, so that's why the wording's a little funky.
Yeah, I know, I was looking to say, this looks like it's worded for the DDA to make a motion rather
Was
than.
it
for us to
DDA?
make a motion.
They still meant to
They
be
need
worded.
us to give them the go-ahead to do whatever they're gonna
okay,
do.
so you want me to take out recommend? I make a motion that we appoint Kim Hill and Leanne Claxton, and then the rest is the same.
Okay, moved and supported. If there's any more discussion, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. And the motion passes unanimously. On to item B, which is local fiscal recovery grant resolution. Ryan, is this thing where we sent the money to the county and they're sending it back to us?
Yes, but we have to have a resolution that says we want the money back.
Okay, so, and there's a resolution here, I believe.
There is.
Yes.
Okay.
I make a
If
motion
yes.
that we adopt this local fiscal recovery fund grant resolution 2023.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Any further discussion on this grant money? I will just briefly say it's money that we paid to the county. They did some things with it, and they're sending us back a portion of what we spent. This is part of the American Rescue Act funds that we received from the federal government. So, kind of really wasn't our money in the first place, but we get it back again anyway. Moved and supported, and discussion has been held. Just get money to roll call.
Probably should roll.
Let's roll
Yeah,
call. You know what?
I was gonna say.
You can never be wrong to roll call. We can roll call the Pledge of Allegiance if we want.
Roll call for $451,612 to go to the rest,
No.
local.
No, don't.
No, you're not doing that. You're just doing the
You're
roll
just
call.
going around and just.
We already got the
You
motion.
just gotta ask, yeah.
All right, sounds good. Names will be George,
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Nyhout,
Yes.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
Bittenberg.
Yes.
So I will send that along to the county's ARPA coordinator. We should see that money for too long. It'll go back into our ARPA funds along with the others.
In 30 days, 90 days?
Yes.
Okay, something like
It's
that.
the county commissioners have to approve sending us the check.
It's coming back to us. That's the
Yeah,
good,
it's
that's
coming
the
back
happy
finally.
news. On to item C, which is 175th anniversary spending. I think we were thinking of kicking some money in to make that celebration worthy of our stature in this town, and I think it's money well spent. We're gonna, obviously, I know BDA and other people are doing some private fundraisers as well, which is gonna also contribute, but we should be at least, if not one of the lead members, extremely active in this, so.
I know we can't discuss, but are the other kicking in amounts, like DDA historical and township, or are
In
there
different
set
ways,
amounts?
I think it will be done.
Different ways of meaning different money amounts?
No,
or-
well,
No,
it
a
could
lot
be
of-
that, it could just be
Volunteer.
in kind services, or they might do fundraising, or they might sell something.
Yeah, I'd say all of the above. I think everybody's doing a little bit of something.
Everything.
And with this, I know we don't have a vote yet, but with this, the village essentially becomes the backstop. That there are expenses related that will, somebody's got to start the ball rolling. There will be fundraising efforts to fund that would counter some of those expenses, but at the same time, we got to
Get the ball rolling. And I think the village council should be, honored to be.
Anytime you
In
throw
this
a party,
role.
it's gonna cost you some money.
Hey, and you know what? I'd hate to see it, this event would never go off, done entirely without the help of some government agencies. Especially as early as it is, because if we don't kick this thing off real soon, I think there's talk of some events getting going as early as June of this year at this location downtown. So that's part of the reason it's on the agenda right now, is that so we can plan to make maybe some purchases and some investments that are going to make these events wonderful. And I think they will. I think the plan is going to go well, but it doesn't happen on its own.
Make a motion to empower the village manager to commit funds in the amount of up to $15,000 for expenses related to the celebration of the village's 175th
Okay, and we all noticed that was up to, so moved and supported. Roll call vote on this one as well.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Green. Yes. Nivell,
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously.
Nichols.
Okay, item D is wayfinding quotes that were sent out for sign fabricators. This is something that we approved for a while ago. Ryan was out looking for some bids, put several out. I think put at least a minimum of 4 and received 2 back. And I think he has a recommendation for us on which one he'd like for us to approve to do the wayfinding signs.
You'll notice the quotes were not included in your packet because only 2 were received. Our purchasing policy says we'll solicit 3 bids for projects like this because we don't have them. I didn't want to include the hard numbers in case we did decide to solicit more bids. Then it's no good to publicly produce some of these numbers. But that's what we're doing.
The way I read this memo, it says that Ryan does recommend Signorama to do the design, manufacture, and install. So that's what he's recommending, and because it's an expenditure, we need to have a motion and a support.
I recommend that the village council move to accept the response of Signorama to design, manufacture, and install wayfinding signage according to the village's wayfinding signage.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Ryan's memo was pretty much in depth. He did explain that at least 4 bids were sought and 2 came in, and this is what he recommends to us as the best one. And having spoke with him about this, I would agree. And we have a motion to support, so if there's no more discussion, we can have a roll call vote.
Nivell,
Yes.
Randazzo,
Yes.
We can, hold on.
So is this just for the vendor, or is this for the vendor and the amount? Because we're still waiting for bids to come in.
We're not waiting for bids, we're
Moving forward with the 2.5, what's the dollar amount?
we're giving this company, sent out 4 bids,
I didn't
that's
see it.
back.
There's a firm deadline in May.
Just give me that.
Yeah, is there a specific
Oh,
amount of
can you
cash
look
in
at
this
the
motion?
22,000?
Yeah, it's in the memo.
Oh, just 22,000? Okay, I'm good, I'm good.
And we also approved that at the last.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the funds have been approved, we just didn't pick a vendor.
Yeah, I didn't see the number also.
Right. The information I shared via email, because I didn't want to put it in our packet, it shows all the signs that we have in our prioritization, the first level. What we have in there in our plan far exceeds our budgeted amount for wayfinding for the current fiscal year.
Did I see a number at 92?
As a grant, if we did them all today, I'm not gonna say that in case we don't go with this number,
Yeah.
but we'll work within our budget for this year, and we'll continue to chip away annually at our wayfinding project as we've discussed through our capital improvement plan, and we'll continue to work towards completing that entire plan.
I'm sure you consider this to be a very good start.
It's a good start.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay.
So how much are we actually committing in this motion?
It's up to us. So it was sent to the companies as a request for qualifications, and so they said if we did them all today, these are the numbers.
So basically what we're doing tonight is we're saying, okay, we're gonna pick this company and we'll start ordering signs.
Yep.
And we will see the amounts for those signs and we can choose how many signs and how much to spend with them as we go along.
Yeah, so in our approval item, we saw that the wayfinding budget line has just over $22,000 in it still for the current year. So between now and the end of June, we have that kind of funding to commit towards this project.
And that was, when we approved the big entire presentation, I mean, that was one of my concerns is we don't have like the $250,000 plus.
Okay, but what we're voting on now is a motion to
This is just
approve
a
up to
start.
22,000, which is allocated this year. If we want to allocate more later, we can. But
And
that's
we'll solicit,
a discussion for budget, for next year's
What I'm saying
budget.
is that this is just starting with the first sentence, starting. that
First
side.
phase.
we're gonna work with Signorama.
First phase.
Yep.
Okay, roll call, please.
Nivell,
Yes.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. The next item is the village manager report. He has 3 items that he wants to update us on, and I will let him begin that process right now.
All right, so our budget also has a website redesign included in it. We've talked to our current website provider several times. Our existing structure becomes obsolete later this year. So your packet contains the request for proposals that I'm interested in soliciting. If council tells me, now let's just go with what our current provider wants to do, we can do that, but we've been contacted by several website vendors over the last several years since I started.
Not going to interrupt, Ryan, did you say to me earlier that this was also something that the township is working on, therefore we're going to be using maybe the same vendor?
I'm not sure about the township, actually,
Okay.
no.
All right, then I misunderstood.
Yeah, it's okay. Yep.
Continue on, and I
No, that's-
apologize.
That's the plan, is I will publish this request for proposals. We don't need to decide, if you want to tell me otherwise, you can, but that's the plan, is to solicit input from our current vendor as well as all the others who've reached out over the last many months that are interested in working with us.
All right, so you're just updating us that we're going to work on a plan, and sometime soon we'll see,
Yes.
we're going to see this pop up on the agenda where we're going to approve the
Likely at the March meeting, at the end of the month, the IT committee will meet in the meantime and review. I think we're going to get a lot of proposals.
And you're convinced that the one we have now is extremely outdated, if not outdated.
2014 is like a dinosaur in website years.
So it's out there. It's out there.
Is there a
Yes.
particular municipality's website that you've seen that you really like?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can you find out who does their website? Because there's some
Yes.
out there that I love. Okay, beautiful.
It's something that Amber and I talk about regularly.
Okay.
As she's learned very quickly to manage our website, there's lots to be desired. So
Yeah,
we're excited to see what's out there.
That'll be
Maybe
fantastic.
haven't updated the next one.
I do have to say that the DOD people have been fantastic.
Jackson's on
Oh,
the
good.
Yeah, and literally just before I came over here, I had a question and sent him the email. He had it done before I came over here, like literally under 10 minutes.
So,
So
they actually
they
respond.
are fabulous.
Good.
They're not part of our website people technically.
No, but that sure
Like
is
they're
nice.
on the website, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure, like,
They're the ones who are working with her. Good.
yes, I just wanted to make sure that.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, it sounds like everybody's supportive of you researching this further and coming back with more info.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Main event awards.
Your packet has the information about the Main Street Oakland County Awards. Matt, do you want to tell us anything about it? We gave them the whole enchilada, so they have all the information.
Is that the one we went to last year, downtown
Yes.
Monument at the Spring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so some of you have attended the event in the past. It was presented to the DDA board last Monday and asked that the board review the award criteria for things they feel we should be applying for. And you have that same opportunity to help identify projects that we've undertaken both jointly and separately that rise to the level of being awarded. Once we get closer, we'll be asking if you'd like to join us for that evening. And of course, at that point, any applications that we have submitted will make available to you.
Do you have any particular projects that you already know that you want to submit from the DDA?
I'm hoping that the DDA board drives that.
Okay.
Good answer.
Well, because we're not aware of every project.
No,
we do.
we're not.
So it would be helpful since we have the opportunity to kind of know some of the things that you guys are very proud of doing that you had a hand in. So,
Well, we got a good project starting this year that we can put in for next year, which is the 175th.
Wayfinding could be eligible, Heritage could be eligible. Some of our promotional items around Small Business Saturday could be eligible.
Cool, thank you.
And this is just a DDA item, if I recall right, that the farmer market thing looks like it's going to be going off again.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you found a person yet to?
Have not. We have a good 6-person team of volunteers that are really working hard at it at the moment.
And you've got some pretty good models you're going to try to emulate, right?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Sorry for the interruption, go ahead.
That was good stuff. Other updates, you had the Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance Annual Report for 2022 on the table. We'll make sure that gets added to the digital packet as well. I can answer questions, but Shelby's doing better than I can. Matt, you have any questions on that one? Put you on the spot. Okay, great breakfast the other day. Working on lights in here. We've talked about it many times in many ways. The lights are not great in here. So that coming soon, working on new light fixtures. And then there's a lot of events in 2023, so stay tuned. We're working to get all of our ducks in a row so we can promote those all properly and make sure you're informed and that all residents and people who call Ortonville downtown their hometown are also aware of what's going on. So you'll see some promotional efforts on that front in the near future. A lot dovetail with the 175th, but there's a whole lot going on, so stay tuned.
Well, I'll make our reservations for this one.
Yeah, all those projects all sound neat. I mean, they really do.
I was gonna hold off till the April meeting because we want to try to get more of a presentation about the 175th together for the end of the month for the March meeting. Should that wait until the Historical Society is back up and running in August? Or sorry, April, and do that?
Wait a minute.
I see.
Yeah.
Ronnie, a little bit of both. I think what we could do is under the village manager report, maybe from now until Septemberfest, is just anything new that you can, bring us up to speed on. It may be just, some of your notes or some of the people you've spoken with or some of the projects you're hearing about, but just your take on how things are moving. And then that way we'll feel like we're in the loop.
Yeah. I can tell you that we've met several times. The last time we met as the big group planning, we split into several different teams. So we've got 5 different groups planning different elements related to the 175th, including promotions and fundraising and the day of and all the other activities throughout the year and how to keep businesses in the loop and things like that. So lots of efforts. The next meeting is on Wednesday morning. So you'll start hearing more from us, soliciting volunteers and donors and all kinds of good stuff. Very soon.
Okay.
I
Before,
like seeing.
well, hold on just a second. I'm going to go around and this is going to be the time where everybody gets to say something. Just so we all stay in order. Again, we get committee updates and stuff, but any more comments on what we talked about since that happened? Very good. Pat, George, how about you?
I'm good.
Larry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I did see that the citizens posting these little historical pages in there, or like that. Are you guys coordinating to provide
Yes.
information for them?
They are parties.
Right here.
Okay, great. I really like those. Keep that going. It's great.
Nothing for me, Tony.
Nothing.
And no.
Oh, okay, all right. The mitten in reviewing this, that I understand this, is that something we should
What are you talking
look at
about?
again?
I can't hear.
Yeah, I can't either.
Mitten,
Okay, it is, it's something from a municipality that we can put out things such as like the signs, we do RFQ. We can do it for signs, we can do it for trucks, for DPW. Like when the DDA was looking for trees, we can do it for trees. Anything, but it does cost money, it's an annual fee, I'm not sure what it is. And there's also another one.
It's like joining a club, you mean?
the state
Oh,
uses
like
to slayer bidders and things like that, so we can post an RFP there and get responses from contractors that are fully vetted and qualified to respond to such
Yeah.
things.
It's a service like, they just do some of the legwork for you?
Yeah.
It's through the
We post it
state,
there to
through
get some
NFL.
value. We are currently members.
Yes.
We are?
We have been members for a long time, salt through there, other things like that.
Is it like belonging to Costco?
Yeah, yes.
In a way, it's not unsimilar.
Okay, the way it's not unsimilar.
Yes.
Okay, I got it right there.
All right, a thought.
No, a great one. I didn't know we were members, or I didn't know that was there. It's probably just where municipalities can kind of not have to keep reinventing the wheel each time they want something.
Right, and make sure you're.
We can't be the only guys that want a truck.
Yeah,
Right.
and the beauty of that too is you can go on and view other municipalities' RFQs.
Yeah, see what they're getting.
And you can, copy paste, you can use it, so we are not really reinventing the wheel. So
Yeah, we're making sure people don't take us to the cleaners by overcharging when somebody else is way better.
Yeah, and there's another one, there's Minton and one more, and I forgot the name of it.
Mitten is also BidNet Direct.
Is that, okay, all right, thank
What do you
you.
call it? Bid what?
BidNet Direct.
BidNet Direct.
But anyways, just a thought, in case we wanted to look at that for help, it might help you with whatever. And that's it, that's all I got.
Okay. Let's skip number 14, let's go on to number 15.
Second.
Oh, there isn't, okay. Well, let's go back to